Dear students, good morning to all. In the last session, we have discussed osmotic pressure in solution and colligative properties. I am continuing that part. Okay, see, proof as a colligative property. Pi is as a colligative property. How can you prove this? We know its calculated equation pi is equal to CST. We know C is the number of molar concentration, that is number of moles of given solute by volume of solution in liters. This is N2 by V in liter into ST. At a given temperature, temperature is constant, and we know T is constant, S is also constant, and for a given volume of the solvent, we know in solid in a liquid solution, the volume of solvent is equal to volume of the solution. That's why volume of the solution also constant. From these we can prove pi is directly proportional to number of moles of the solute particles. Hence pi is a colligative property. Like this we can prove osmotic pressure is a colligative property. Now see the next one, molecular weight of the solute determination. Molecular weight of the solute determination from osmotic pressure. We know this osmotic pressure equation, that is pi is equal to CST. We know this is N2 by V in liters, that is W2 in grams by gram molecular weight of the solute into 1 by V in liters. This is molar concentration into ST. From this only we will get this molecular weight of the solute. This is W2 by, so pi into 1 by V in liters into ST. Here what is S value? That is approximately R value. It is 0.0821 liter atma per Kelvin per mole. So that means volume must be taken in liters. Osmotic pressure must be taken in atmosphere. Then only we can use this S value as 0.0821 liter atma per Kelvin per mole. From this we can find this molecular weight of solute from osmotic pressure. What is the final conclusion? Molecular weight of the solute is inversely proportional to osmotic pressure. That means molecular weight of the solute is inversely proportional to colligative property. We can prove this relation in every colligative property. So this is the molecular weight determination from osmotic pressure. Next, experimental determination. Experimental determination of osmotic pressure. This is experimentally obtained by Berkeley-Hartley method. Berkeley-Hartley. By using this method only we will get this experimental osmotic pressure. Okay, here it is based on this definition only. Already we have seen this osmosis process. In this we have taken solution. So outer vessel having pure solvent. And initial level is, this is A, and after osmosis level is B. Now whatever external pressure, minimum external pressure required on this solution side to restore its original level to in the osmosis process. Already we discussed when pure solvent and solution separated by semi-permeable membrane, osmosis process takes place. After osmosis process the level is B. Now apply some minimum external pressure on this solution side to restore this level as original level. Okay, that minimum external pressure is osmotic pressure. That is simply obtained by using Berkeley-Hartley's method. Next, what about isotonic solutions? Isotonic, hypertonic and hypotonic solutions. Here if you compare two solutions osmotic pressure, these are the two solutions. It is a solution 1, this is a solution 2. So they are having some osmotic pressure. This is pi 1, this is pi 2. If pi 1 is equal to pi 2, then these two solutions are called isotonic solutions. If pi 1 greater than pi 2, which is more, that is hyper, which is less, that is hypo. That means first solution is hypertonic than second solution. So like this we can understand hypertonic. Or in the same case we can understand second solution is hypotonic than first solution. For the given case we can write two statements. If pi 1 is greater than pi 2, first solution is hypertonic than the second solution, or second solution is hypertonic than first solution. Okay, if two solutions having same osmotic pressure, then those solutions are said to be isotonic. And these isotonic solutions also known as isopistic solutions. What are isopistic solutions? These are the solutions, they are having same vapor pressure. Suppose the vapor pressure is, it is the PS1, if it is the PS2, then if PS1 is equal to PS2, if two solutions having the same vapor pressure, those solutions are said to be isopistic solutions. If they are having same vapor pressure, default they are having same lowering in vapor pressure, they are having same relative lowering in vapor pressure. We know relative lowering in vapor pressure and osmotic pressure both are colligative property. If two solutions having one same colligative property, remaining colligative property is also same. That's why isotonic solutions other name isopistic solutions. Next, see what is endoosmosis. Here endoosmosis and exoosmosis. Okay, suppose if you take this vessel having this is a dry grape which is placed in the water, then what happened after some time, so this dry grape is highly concentrated sugar solution. So this grape wall acts as a semi-permeable membrane, and then osmosis process takes place. This is the pure solvent, it is highly concentrated solution, then solvent enter inside. If solvent enter inside, that is called endoosmosis process. So by this what happened, after some time that dry grape will becomes bulge like this is after osmosis process. It's because of simply entering of solvent molecule inside through semi-permeable membrane, that is endoosmosis. Whereas exoosmosis means solvent molecules goes out. Suppose if you take this is a fresh grape which is placed in highly concentrated sugar solution. What happened? This fresh grape wall acts as semi-permeable membrane. Now in fresh grape also sugar solution there, and outside also sugar solution there, but outside solution is highly concentrated solution than inside. By this what happened? Osmosis process takes place. What is osmosis process? From low concentration site to high concentration site, solvent molecules will migrate. By this what happened? Solvent molecules coming out. After some time it will shrink. It will shrink like this. So this is called exoosmosis. So these are familiarly noticed in our human body also. If you take the endoosmosis, best example is hemolysis. So what happened in the blood cell? Whenever endoosmosis takes place, blood cell, so what happens? Size increases. Size increases means after some time it will burst. Hemolysis, that is hemoglobin's particles will be cleaved. Lysis means cleaved, that is called hemolysis. Exoosmosis means plasmolysis. Plasmolysis takes place here. Simply reverse process. Okay, in human body there is so that fluid is like a saline water concentration only. What is that? Blood solution fluid. Blood solution fluid is human body having a 0.9% weight by volume NaCl. This is the blood solution fluid. So if you take this molarity, molar concentration is equal to 10 times of percentage weight by volume by gram molecular weight of the solute. So if you simplify this, this is 10 into 0.9 by 58.5. This is the blood cell fluid molar concentration. This is molarity of NaCl present in a blood cell fluid. Based on this concentration, we can understand so inside outside solution comparison. Suppose this is a blood cell which is placed in this 0.9% weight by volume. Now these are isotonic solutions. Why? Because the blood cell internally having this concentration only. When you place the same one is in same concentration, those are isotonic. Suppose if the blood cell is placed in more than 0.9% weight by volume NaCl. What happened in this process? Outside concentration is more, this is inside concentration is less. Therefore, what happened? Solvent migrates from inside to outside. By this, which process takes place? Plasmolysis takes place. What is indirect meaning? When the blood cell is placed in what is this hypertonic solution? When the blood cell is placed in hypertonic solution, default plasmolysis takes place. Similarly, when the blood cell is placed in so concentration less than 0.9% weight by volume NaCl. That is the meaning of when the blood cell is placed in a hypotonic solution. What happened here? Hemolysis takes place. Hemolysis takes place because the outside solution has less concentration. From this, what happened indirectly? Solvent molecule coming from outside to inside. Again, the blood cell size increases, and it becomes so burst, and that is the cleavage of blood cell, that is called hemolysis. So, by using this blood solution fluid concentration only, we can understand isotonic, hypertonic, hypotonic, and plasmolysis and hemolysis also. And finally, reverse osmosis in this. Reverse osmosis. Reverse osmosis is the exactly reverse process for osmosis. What is osmosis? In osmosis, we are using a semi-permeable membrane. It is a low concentration, it is high concentration. If C1 is less than C2, simply solvent molecules migrate from lower concentration to higher concentration till the equal on both sides. That is osmosis. We know this. Reverse osmosis means exactly reverse process for this. Suppose if you separate, this is a high concentrated solution, this is a low concentrated solution. When these two separated by semi-permeable membrane, actually what is a natural phenomenon, spontaneous process from low concentration to high concentration, this solvent migration, this is a spontaneous process. What is spontaneous process condition? Delta G is equal to negative. Suppose if you apply some external pressure on high concentration side, what happened? A non-spontaneous process takes place. Then solvent molecule migrate from higher concentration side to lower concentration side. It is a non-spontaneous process. Now this phenomenon is defined as reverse osmosis. What is reverse osmosis? It is the phenomenon of migration of solvent molecule from higher concentration to lower concentration side. So by applying some external pressure on higher concentration side when they are separated by semi-permeable membrane. Especially this reverse osmosis process is used to purify sea water to get the drinking water. So if suppose if you take it is pure water and this is sea water. You know sea water having NaCl, MgCl2 electrolytes. So sea water has some higher concentration. Second side I am taking only pure water. Now if you apply some external pressure on sea water side, so solvent molecule migrate from sea water to pure water side, and finally we can collect as drinking water. This is a drinking water obtained from the sea water by applying reverse osmosis process. Okay, in osmotic pressure colligative property we have discussed all points. Now see next concept, abnormal behavior of solute in the solution. Okay, next abnormal behavior of solute in the solution. Actually in this colligative property we have discussed majorly 4 colligative properties. In every colligative property we studied definition, equation, units, calculated equation, proof as a colligative property, molecular weight of solute determination, and experimental determination. That means for every colligative property there is a calculated equation as well as experimental determined equation. If you look at this colligative property and its corresponding calculated equation and experimental determined equation, determined method and equation, and if colligative property calculated is equal to colligative property experimental, then corresponding behavior of the solute in the solution. Based on this we can understand, see this here We know relative lowering in vapor pressure. This is the colligative property. What is this calculated equation? Only mole fraction of the solute. But experimentally, how do you get this one? It is by Ostwald-Walker's dynamic method. By using this method, we are getting experimentally this relative lowering in vapor pressure. The second colligative property is elevation in boiling point, delta TB. For that, calculated equation is KBM. And experimental determined equation is delta TB is equal to, this is the Ts of boiling point minus T naught of boiling point, which is obtained by Cottrell's method. Whereas the third colligative property, delta TF, depression freezing point, calculated equation is Kf into M, whereas the experimental obtained value delta TF is equal to T naught of freezing point minus Ts of freezing point, which is obtained by Ras-Kampfer method. Next, the last colligative property is osmotic pressure pi. Its calculated equation is CST, whereas experimental obtained equation by, this is Berkeley-Hartley's method. By using this Berkeley-Hartley's method, you are getting this experimental osmotic pressure. So, for every colligative property, we have calculated equation as well as experimental determined equation. Here what we are discussing, abnormal behavior of solute in the solution. Suppose if the calculated equation value and experimental determined value are same, then the solute behaves as a normal behavior in the solution. Suppose if a calculated equation and experimental values are not equal, then the solute behaves in the abnormal behavior. That's why this is the calculated colligative property and experimental colligative property. So this relation. So if calculated colligative property is equal to experimental colligative property, then what is that behavior? It is a normal behavior. The solute behaves as in a normal behavior manner. If colligative property calculated value is not equal to experimental colligative property value, that may be greater than or less than, two cases. In both cases, the solute behaves in the abnormal behavior. In abnormal behavior, we are getting that case, that is colligative property calculated is not equal to experimental colligative property. Based on these two relations only, we can understand this normal or abnormal behavior. To understand this abnormal behavior, Van 't Hoff scientists introduced Van 't Hoff factor I. In terms of Van 't Hoff factor I, we can understand abnormal behavior of solute in the solution. Here I am giving one example, you can understand. See this example. Suppose if I am taking a 1 mole NaCl dissolved in 1 liter water, then so your calculated value, colligative property calculated value is directly proportional to 1 mole of added NaCl. But after dissolution, NaCl dissolved in water and gives ions, Na plus and Cl minus ions. If you take 1 mole NaCl, it gives 1 mole Na plus and 1 mole Cl minus. Altogether 2 mole ions will be obtained. Now the experimental colligative property is directly proportional to 2 moles of solute particles. But this solute particle is a ion in this case. So where, what do you understand? Colligative property calculated is not equal to colligative property experimentally obtained value. That means this NaCl in water behaves as abnormal solute. It is the abnormal behavior of the solute in the given solution. So to understand this explanation, Van 't Hoff introduced Van 't Hoff factor I. In terms of Van 't Hoff factor I, we can understand this abnormal behavior. See that. So Van 't Hoff introduced a factor I to explain that abnormal behavior of solute in the solution. Mathematically, it is defined as the ratio of observed colligative property to calculated colligative property. Or this is also defined as we know colligative property is directly proportional to number of moles of the solute particles. And what is number of moles? Weight by molecular weight. That means it is inversely proportional to molecular weight of the solute. Based on this relation, we can understand this is observed moles ratio by calculated moles ratio. That means initially how many moles added, that is calculated moles, and how many moles observed in the solution. These are the observed moles in the solution by initially added moles ratio, or we can define in terms of molecular weight of solute. We know every colligative property is inversely proportional to molecular weight of the solute. From this we can write this is molecular weight calculated by molecular weight observed. That means this is a molecular weight of the added species, means reactant, by molecular weight at equilibrium position, molecular weight in the solution state, that is at equilibrium. At equilibrium, like this we can define Van 't Hoff factor I. So what is this? It is a ratio of observed colligative property to calculated colligative property, or it is a ratio of observed moles in the solution to calculated moles of the solute. That means it is a ratio of observed moles in the solution state by it is to initially added moles of the solute, or it is a ratio of molecular weight of solute as per formula calculation and to observed molecular weight in the solution state, that is at equilibrium state. Okay, here how to calculate observed molecular weight and all this I will explain. Here I see this example. Previously I given one example, NaCl. So what is this here? If you take 1 mole NaCl per 1 liter water, this colligative property calculated is directly proportional to 1 mole, whereas colligative property observed is directly proportional to 2 mole ions. 2 mole ions. Therefore, what is Van 't Hoff factor I? I is equal to colligative property observed by colligative property calculated. In this is 2 by 1, this is 2. For this Van 't Hoff factor is 2. Okay, based on this Van 't Hoff factor we can understand how do you correlate the given colligative property by using this Van 't Hoff factor I. How this Van 't Hoff factor I explains abnormal behavior in the solute. Here I am giving one example, you can understand. See this example. Osmotic pressure. What is osmotic pressure equation? Pi is equal to CST. From this we can write pi is equal to what is molar concentration? Number of moles of solute by volume in liter into ST. These are the, if it is observed moles of the solute, observed colligative property comes. Actually, whatever you are adding solute to given solvent, finally you are getting solution. For that solution, the colligative property value is due to the observed moles only. So here, if it is observed moles of the solute, you are getting observed colligative property. So to correlate calculated colligative property and observed colligative property, use always observed moles. If you use observed moles as per this calculation also, you are getting observed colligative property. From this, what is observed moles? From this, observed moles is equal to, we know I is equal to observed moles by calculated moles. Therefore, this observed moles is equal to I into calculated moles. Therefore, where number of moles of solute present, there use I into N calculated. Default, the coming expression is pi observed is equal to, instead of N2 observed, what we can write? I into N2 calculated by this volume in liter into ST. From this, what we can write? The remaining expression is the same as that of previous, but extra term I is there. Therefore, from this, what we can write? Pi is equal to ICST. This is the modified equation for osmotic pressure. Actually, what we have discussed all 4 colligative properties: relative lowering in vapor pressure, the elevation in boiling point, depression freezing point, osmotic pressure. I given calculated equations. Those are not original equations. Don't use those equations in the numericals, because to explain this abnormal behavior of solute in the solution, Van 't Hoff corrected those equations by using Van 't Hoff factor I. Based on this Van 't Hoff factor I, what is I? I is equal to observed moles by calculated moles. From this, what is observed moles is equal to I into calculated moles. That means any equation, instead of calculated moles, so instead of moles of the solute, write I into number of moles of solute, then you are getting corrected equation. Based on those corrected equations only, finally we can follow the numericals. Okay, I will continue this part in the next session.